Chapter 1. Hetty. Awkward. Uncle Archibald, or Archie as he now preferred, had been waiting for them at the train station at Le Puy, drinking a black coffee and puffing on a cigarette. Having never met him before, Hetty noted he had dark circles and a sagging look about him, with shoulders bowed and head lowered. Maybe he always looked like that, but as his daughter Isabel was getting married this week, Hetty doubted it. This was the reason they were all travel-weary and a bit cantankerous, a French wedding in the countryside. Archie tossed the still glowing cigarette into the bushes and flipped the empty coffee cup into a waiting bin already overflowing with rubbish. It bounced on the edge, wobbled, and fell off. He didn't bother to pick it up. They walked over, dragging their suitcases behind them. It had been a long journey from Brighton to here in the Massif Central in France, and not just in time. Hetty sometimes wondered if her boyfriend Davy and his twin sisters Ailsa and Jules got on at all. So much unsaid weirdness in the air, covered by a patina of well-bred politeness. She couldn't work out why, and Davy was less than forthcoming. "It's just family stuff, you know," he'd said. But she didn't know, and that was kind of the point. From the way he said that, she wasn't sure if he knew either. Now Davy slipped his arm around her shoulders, bent down to her and whispered, "Behold, the father of the bride. I bet he'll be glad when it's all done and dusted." "Not sure," Ailsa said, "if I'm looking forward to seeing the old place or not." Hetty noted that she glanced at Jules. She found that an odd thing to say. Surely they must all be so excited to be back here. Davy made some sort of tutting sound. "Bit late, as there's Uncle Archibald now." He waved, "And he's still driving that old Citroen." Hetty stared at the car. Rounded and low-slung, painted a 50s olive green. She did wonder if it scraped the ground on occasion. She and Davy had bicycles at home in Brighton, as parking was non-existent and the buses and trains ran on time, so why bother with a car? Jules strode off, and Hetty heard her say to her uncle, "I thought you'd given up," as she leaned in for a hug. She eyed the cigarette butt still smouldering beneath a shrub. Hetty thought that although Ailsa might be the outgoing twin, reeling in new friends as if they were plump trout on the line, and often saying stuff without thinking about it beforehand, or maybe she did think beforehand and decided to say it anyway, it was Jules who she viewed as someone she'd like to spend time with, an ally in the McGregor clan she was now part of. Mind you, Jules was a psychologist, at least in her final years of training, and Hetty wasn't sure if she was always making judgments about them. You should mind your P's and Q's in front of a psychologist in case they worked out you were a serial killer before you did. That was a bit unnerving. Archie made a grunting sound. "You try giving up smoking before your darling daughter's wedding." His smile was lopsided. He might be topping 50, but he was still a handsome man. Rangy, sandy-haired and dressed in that inimitable shabby chic style the uber-rich seemed to pull off without a thought. She could see where Davy got it from. "I promise to stop this filthy habit when they leave for their honeymoon, and not a moment before." He twisted and scooped Ailsa into his arms. "It's good to see you lot. It's been far too long. 8 years. I suppose it got a bit staid and boring for you all in the end, eh?" Hetty noticed his eye twitched. Jules took a deep breath and then moved away from them, fiddling at her bags. Ailsa swept her long golden hair from her face and said, "Yeah. The usual teenage angst and the horrors of Brexit." She glanced again at Jules and stepped back. "Has Aunt Romilly lost the plot yet?"
"She will if you call her Aunt. You're all old enough to call us Archie and Romy. I'd like to say you all look wonderful. So grown up."
"That's probably because we are."
"Romy has planned a little party for tonight to welcome you all back and to have a little bit of close family time."
"You mean," said Davy, "before the Hordes arrive?" Jules came over and leaned against Davy. "Will Jean-Jacques be there?"
"I believe he'll be arriving much later. We may well miss him tonight."
"His loss, then." Ailsa motioned at the car. "Will we all fit in that?"
"No," said Archie. "That's why I booked a taxi. It's waiting with a driver over there. You'll have to call dibs on it, or me."
He nodded across the parking lot and then waved at Davy.
"Come on then, Davy. Introduce me to your lovely girlfriend."
He let go of Ailsa and pulled Davy and Hetty into a vice-like hug. Speaking into her hair, he said,
"It's good to know that Davy is settled now. All we need to do," he turned and grinned at the twins, "is get these two a matching pair of nice boys."
Hetty couldn't fail to notice that Jules blanched and stamped to the car. "I'm bagging us the Citroen. Davy, can you and Hetty go in the taxi?" She didn't wait for an answer, but, leaving her suitcase by the boot, tugged the passenger door open and slumped in. Hetty secretly wondered if Jules was gay. Maybe a nice boy wasn't on her agenda.
"Moody or what?"
said Ailsa, shrugging her shoulders.
"It's the first time since—"
Davy stared at Ailsa with a peculiar look on his face.
"I mean, we never quite got to the bottom of it all, did we? What happened? She seemed quite upset, you know, when it all went a bit weird."
Ailsa rolled her eyes. "That was years ago, and we were all just kids. It had nothing to do with us." Appearing uncomfortable, her eyes slid sideways too fast. She shouted across the parking lot, "And thanks for assuming you're in the front. I obviously love being in the back." "Whatever," came the reply. "I bet she's just tired," said Hetty.
"Join the club?"
Archie made a face and then smirked as if he'd been a naughty little boy that had been caught out.
"I should warn you, it's like a military campaign back at the house."
"Is it all going to plan?" Davy scrunched his eyes shut.
"Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you." "If the plans include mayhem and madness, then I'd say yes, brilliantly."
Archie flapped his hand at the car.
"I suppose we'd better get off, although I was enjoying being out of the fray, if just for a moment." "God, that bad?"
Davy tugged his suitcase to the boot of the waiting taxi. He said something in French to the driver, and Hetty felt embarrassed. Basic schoolgirl French was her level, and most of that was forgotten or mispronounced. Davy and the twins were fluent, not only because of spending every summer out here with their half-French family, but because they had all attended the best schools. And, to top it all, they all spoke Swedish. Hetty had been with Davy for over a year and moved in with him less than 6 months ago. The longest relationship she'd managed so far. She hadn't yet met Eva, his Swedish mum,